Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Raditz Dokkan event and basically just go through it. As you guys know, I always cover the new Dokkan event just to see if there's anything interesting in it, but also to talk a little bit more about the unit in a more informal kind of setting. But yeah, pretty much we have the Cold-Hearted Alien Warrior attacks. So this is a new Dokkan event, which is cool. It's always nice to get a new Dokkan event because it means there's a chance of subunit, EZAs, etc. You will have to do this event if you wish to awaken the physical Raditz or the strength Nappa. So physical Raditz, he obviously, he has his 77 medals that he needs, and then you also have the strength Nappa. Now it looks like Saiyan Saga units are going to be effective here, but only Piccolo units and Kid Gohan units, and Goku and Piccolo units. Obviously, all the guys or all the units that fought him when he first came to Earth. I think it's Earth. Yeah, it must be Earth. But yeah. So basically, remember it's 77 medals for Raditz, and it's going to be 35 medals for Nappa. For the sake of, I don't know, having some kind of semblance for the video, I will be using a Saiyan Saga team, because why not, basically. And yeah, we'll be taking a look at how well we can obviously perform. We're going to be doing an Inhuman Deeds team, so there's no real, bonus in terms of this. You don't need to do this. There's no damage bonus or anything. But I thought we might as well just try and stick the theme in a little bit, especially considering, the actual units that are requirements are so much more difficult to use if you don't have a Saiyan Saga lead that it's actually pointless trying to run them. Like, you can use Gohan on the hybrid Saiyans possibly, or you can use, the Piccolo on the Namekians team, but realistically speaking, there's no massive appeal to using any of these units. So, but yeah, overall, just gonna use an Inhuman Deeds team, kind of Saiyan Saga theme centric. A lot of Skada Vegetas and Skada Raditz units, so that's always pretty cool. Now, obviously, just to talk about Raditz, because the event's a standard Dokkan event, there's nothing too weird about it. But just to talk about Raditz for a little bit, because obviously he's under a lot of fire from the community. Upon his initial release on the JP side, he obviously wasn't really well received. I think a lot of people obviously didn't really enjoy his kit. It's very, very conditional, and just overall isn't the most fun kit to try and utilize. It's very, very conditional. So yeah, obviously he's got that first condition, is that he has attack and defense of plus 50% when facing only one enemy. This isn't traditionally a huge issue, but the next bit is quite conditional. So if that enemy that he's facing has HP of 50% or less, then he has an additional attack of 100% and also a high chance of performing a crit. So this isn't a huge issue. A lot of people blow this one out the water a little bit, I feel. Essentially it means 50% of the time up in super hard events like Ultimate Red Zone and things like that, he's gonna have a very large attack stat, or a much larger attack stat with high crit chance. It only kicks in when you are in the second half, technically, of every fight, but it's still up 50% of the time in theory. So I think it's just the nature of it that it's not there from the start, and I think that generally, at least from my understanding, gives a lot of people this negative perception of him. Another thing is he does do AoE damage on his super attack, which, as much as I don't like to say it, but AoE damage is technically more valuable, or a lot more valuable, in other events. That's kind of why he gains the 100% attack when facing a unit that's below 50% health. It's to kind of recoup back a little bit of his AoE benefit into the single target attack. Then he also performs a critical hit within the same turn after receiving an attack, plus he has an additional defense of 150% when facing 2 or more enemies. So this also kind of, I think, irritates people. He's guaranteed to perform a crit, which is awesome, and he has additional defense when facing 2 or more enemies, which is also awesome. So in theory, you're supposed to put him in the first slot, let him get hit, let him crit with his AoE, and it's supposed to do huge damage. It doesn't just really work out quite that well, just because obviously, again, his defense is not necessarily up to scratch in that situation, so he just ends up taking a bit more damage than I think people wanted him to. And then he's got the 2 key for the rest of the battle after delivering a final blow, which is just a complete waste. I think what they could have done is maybe made it the Scouter ability. So Scouter ability for the rest of the battle after delivering a final blow. Final blow mechanics are notoriously difficult to do, but Raditz just gaining the Scouter ability from finishing an enemy would have made him immediately just 10 times better in like almost every single stage. I feel like that small change there would have made Raditz almost viable in a lot of content, because Raditz then would have had quite a large performance increase. Just that ability to improve and just like cover everyone as well. So I think that would have made him a lot better. It wouldn't have made him perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and I think to a certain extent units like Raditz need to be more like the Ginyu, where they are super duper strong. But I think the issue is also people aren't understanding is that Raditz would therefore only be strong on low class warriors, but he is also on one of the most diverse categories in the game in Saiyan Saga, and Pure Saiyans. So it is very difficult to make him unhinged and super powerful, because there are a ton of teams that run Pure Saiyans, and giving that kind of viability also is a double-edged sword. But they could definitely have done a bit more with him. But yeah, so that's the Dokkan event. Nothing too crazy, pretty straightforward. Hopefully it's nothing too wild for a lot of you guys, but I'm sure you'll have a decent time. Remember, 77 medals for Raditz and 35 for Strength Nappa. But that's gonna be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and bye.